Welcome or welcome back to A Better Choice Homestead, where on my channel I focus on food. And this is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. So today we are going to do Tasty Tuesday leftover turkey edition. So I have 2 pounds of turkey meat that I basically pulled off of the bones. It is the thigh meat and then some white meat. And we are going to turn that into a lovely leftover turkey chili, and I'm going to be also making some jalapeno cornbread to serve with that. So this is going to be a little different than my typical start to serve in under 30-minute video, because this is going to take about 90 minutes to fully finish, but it's going to be absolutely delicious, and it is a good way to use up some of your leftover turkey. So this is really easy. I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of olive oil into the bottom of my cast iron Dutch oven. I'm going to eyeball that. And we're going to get that on a medium-high heat. To that, I am going to add 1 large yellow onion that I've already diced down. I diced that down off camera because these onions always make me cry. So I've already done that. I'm just going to drop those in. And I also have peeled 8 cloves of garlic. I'm just going to mince those right in as well. And garlic is one of those ingredients that you can add more or less of depending on whether or not you like it and how much you like it. We like garlic, and especially in the winter, because it is one of those things that can really keep your immunity up and keep you feeling healthy. Now I'm going to add some oregano. You can use fresh oregano in here, perfectly fine. I don't have any, but I have freeze-dried. And to me, freeze-dried oregano is just as good as, if not better, than fresh. So I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of oregano in. Pepper is another one of those ingredients that you can add as much or as little as you like. I always just eyeball it. This is probably about half a teaspoon, and I may adjust that as throughout the cooking process. I may add more. I'm also going to add 2 tablespoons of cumin, 4 tablespoons of chili powder, and I'm just going to stir that around and cook this down to kind of wake up all the spices and get those onions and that garlic starting to cook for about 5 minutes. So just going to let it sit here, stirring occasionally. And that's really just going to wake up all the flavors in those dry spices and give that onion and garlic time to get translucent and flavorful as well. And now we're going to add the rest of the ingredients. So I have a 28-ounce can here of diced tomatoes. You can use fresh if you have them, although being November, they're not going to be garden fresh. I'm going to do 1 quart of turkey broth. This is homemade turkey bone broth. and 1 quart of, these are cannellini beans. You can use whatever kind of beans you like in here. If you like kidney beans in your chili, use those. And then I'm going to add in the leftover turkey. So this is just diced up, pulled off the bone and diced up. And now we're gonna add bell pepper. If you have fresh bell peppers, you're gonna wanna use 1. I prefer the red, the yellow, or the orange. I find them to be just a little bit sweeter than the green. I don't have fresh, but I have diced freeze-dried bell peppers, so I'm gonna add about 1 cup of those. They're gonna rehydrate in the broth in here. And then we're gonna add 3 dried Guajillo peppers. Now, if you don't have these on hand, you could use a different type of hot pepper. These ones just have a sweeter profile than, say, a jalapeno pepper, and they'll rehydrate in here over the cooking process. I am putting the seeds in here because it's what's going to bring the heat into this dish. It's not going to be super spicy, but it will have a little bit of a kick. And then I'm just gonna tear these up and put them in. And I'm breaking them up into fairly small pieces. And even though they feel kind of tough and rubbery right now, they will rehydrate into soft chili pepper pieces throughout the cooking process. But again, if you don't have these, you can use a jalapeno, you can use any type of hot pepper of your choosing. This just brings a unique flavor profile with that bit of sweetness. Mix that around. Make sure we got all those peppers submerged. And the last thing I'm going to add right now is some salt, and I'm just going to do a good pinch of that in here. And then I'll let this cook for a bit, and then once the flavors start to marry together, I'll taste it and I can adjust the salt and pepper at that point. But otherwise, I'm gonna turn this down to a simmer with the lid on. And we are gonna let that go for 90 minutes. But we'll start making our cornbread when there is about 45 minutes left of the cook time. We're about 45 minutes in with the chili cooking, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with the cornbread. And the first thing I'm gonna do is preheat the oven to 400. And I have a 10-inch cast iron skillet that we're gonna cook this cornbread in. So I'm gonna put 6 tablespoons of butter in here, and we're gonna get this melted as the oven is preheating. And now we're gonna get the batter ready. So this calls for 1 cup of cornmeal. And this is cornmeal that I ground myself. I just used my Wonder Mill on the coarse setting. And I used half of a cup of dry or dent or field corn. It doesn't have to be nixtamalized to make cornbread. And we're just going to add that to the bowl. 1 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of white sugar. We're going to do 1 3/4 teaspoons of baking powder. One and 1/2 teaspoons of baking soda. One teaspoon of kosher salt. And those are our dry ingredients. So I'm just going to get that mixed well together, just using a little Danish whisk. Now I'm going to mix in 2 beaten eggs and 2 cups of buttermilk. Now I don't keep buttermilk in my refrigerator. I don't keep it on hand, but I do have a pretty good stock of dry buttermilk that I keep in my freezer. So I just reconstituted that. It is 1/4 cup of dry to 1 cup of liquid. So I used 1/2 cup of the dry buttermilk to 2 cups of water. And this little cup here has like a metal ball inside that just helps it mix up. So and we're going to get this well combined. Now I'm going to add to this 1 cup of shredded sharp cheddar cheese. This is a sharp cheddar. It's a raw organic sharp cheddar that I get from Azure Standard. It's got a really good flavor to it. And then I'm going to add 1 cup of diced jalapenos that I preserved this year and pulled from my freezer this morning to kind of get them to defrost. I'm just going to dump those right in. You can use the rings if you have fresh jalapenos, just cut them down into rings. I have these readily available, so this is what I'm using. I'm going to carefully get those mixed in. And now we need that melted 6 tablespoons of butter to pour into this batter. Got a nice pan of melted butter. I'm just going to pour that in. Mix it around. And now we're going to just pour the batter right into the hot pan. Give that a little stir. And now this is going to go in for about 40 minutes. It's going to get a little puffy and it's going to get golden on top, and that's when it's ready. And that will be the time that the chili is done too. But I am gonna taste the chili for the salt because we've got 40 minutes left in here. That is really good. I think I'm gonna add just a pinch more salt. Get that stirred around. Get the lid back on. We're just at a simmer here, and we'll get this pan into the oven. And we'll be ready to plate up in 40 minutes. Our cornbread has come out of the oven, and I actually pulled it at 35 minutes because I went to check it, and as you can see, it is deliciously golden brown. So oven temps can vary. I always recommend checking things that you put into the oven 5 to 10 minutes before you think they're gonna be done, just to verify. But our chili is ready, our cornbread is ready, so let's get some of this plated up and give it a taste. All right, here we go. We've got our jalapeno cornbread, which looks just incredibly yummy. Nice and golden brown on the outside. And then this chili, which I gotta tell you, this smells incredible. Oh, that's delicious. The spices are perfect. It is not too spicy. It is very flavorful. Yeah, that is delicious. That is a hearty bowl of chili for sure. And you can freeze this and pull it out and reheat it anytime. Let's give that cornbread a try. That is incredible. That is really good. I mean, this is a delicious cornbread. If you want to leave the jalapenos out, if you're not a big jalapeno fan, because I can taste the heat in here, I can feel it. And they do have a very strong jalapeno flavor as well. This is a marvelous cornbread recipe, even if you don't add the jalapenos. So I hope you give this recipe a try. It is truly delicious. Thank you so much for joining me for another edition of Tasty Tuesday, leftover chili and jalapeno cornbread edition. My name is Kelly, you're at A Better Choice Homestead, and I do hope you come back and visit again soon.